I woke to the sound of my own breathing, or what I thought was my own. The room was thick with shadow, the kind that seemed to crawl along the walls instead of lying flat. My husband, Daniel, was supposed to be asleep beside me, but the mattress felt disturbingly empty on his side. A chill, sharp and icy, crawled up my spine. I glanced at the dark window. The moon was gone, leaving the night in a pure, suffocating blackness that felt like it was pressing in on me. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, just a bad dream. Maybe Daniel had just gone to the bathroom. I shook my head, trying to dislodge the lingering tendrils of a nightmare. But then I heard it, a whisper, low and wet, curling from the darkest corner of the room. "Don't move," it said. The voice was almost a sigh, almost pleased with itself. My heart slammed against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. My hands trembled as I fumbled for the lamp switch. A pale, weak light finally flickered on, falling across the room. Everything seemed normal, and there was Daniel, back in bed, his body still there, still warm beside me. But the air felt wrong. Heavy, thick, like I was trying to breathe underwater. We had moved into this old house only 3 months ago. It was one of those classic Victorian horrors, all creaking floorboards and gabled roofs, with windows that rattled even on the calmest nights. I'd been drawn to it, to its character, its haunting, melancholic beauty. Daniel, ever the practical one, had been hesitant, A-side it felt. Watch, but we'd settled in, unpacked the boxers, and slowly made it our Zor at least. That's what I had foolishly believed. The unease began subtly, as these things often do. A phantom footstep in the hall when I was the only one awake. Doors that I knew I had locked suddenly standing ajar. The faint, acrid smell of smoke in rooms that had no fireplace. Small, explainable things that I brushed off as my imagination running wild in a new, old house. And now this whisper that had no mouth. Yet it had breathed my name, a chilling secret shared between me and the darkness. I pressed my back hard against the headboard, my eyes darting around the room, searching for any sign of intrusion. I was just being paranoid. The house's age was playing tricks on my senses, making me jump at shadows. But then I noticed it, the shadow beneath Daniel's side of the bed. It shifted. It wasn't a trick of the lamp or my half-awake mind playing games. It moved with a slow, deliberate intent, like something alive, something that was watching me, waiting. My phone was on the nightstand across the room. My legs felt like they were cast in lid. Every inch I moved toward it felt like wading through a thick, invisible storm. The air resisted me when my fingers finally closed around the cool plastic. The screen lit up. No notifications, no messages, just the blank lock screen. But the reflection on the dark glass made me freeze. Behind me, in the reflection, Daniel's face stared back at me. His skin was pale. His lips were parted in a silent, agonizing scream. But I knew he was lying right there, asleep, or at least he had been just moments ago. I dropped the phone. It hit the plush carpet with a soft thud that sounded deafening in the suffocating silence. The shadow under the bed twitched violently, and a low, guttural growl hummed from somewhere deep beneath the floorboards, vibrating through the soles of my feet. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. Time had stretched and slowed, each second a small, agonizing eternity. And then a new sound joined the growler soft, dragging shuffle from the hallway, just outside her bedroom door. I tried to call out to Daniel, to wake him. But my throat was dry, tight as if an invisible hand had wrapped around it, squeezing the air from my lungs. The footsteps grew closer, slow and deliberate. The whisper returned, no longer from the corner, but a hot, moist breath right against my ear. "Daniel is mine tonight." My vision tunneled, blackness creeping in from the edges. I could feel the searing heat behind my eyes, a primal panic coiling in my stomach like a venomous snake. But I couldn't look away from the shadow that had now begun to emerge from under the bed. It wasn't human. Not entirely. Its form was tall, impossibly elongated, its limbs bending at angles that should have been physically impossible, like a broken marionette. Its eyes, or what I dared to call eyes, in the shifting mass of darkness glowed. Faintly with a dim red light, not the warm glow of a fire, but the cold, dead light of pure, insatiable hunger. It moved toward the bed with the horrifying grace of a predator, fluid yet disjointed, like something stitched together from nightmares in the dark corners of the universe. I wanted to scream, to let out a sound that would shatter the windows, but only a strangled, pathetic croak escaped my lips. On the bed, Daniel stood, murmuring something unintelligible in his sleep, completely unaware of the horror that stood over him. The creature paused its advance. It tilted its head, listening, its red eyes fixed on me, and then, as if satisfied with the terror it had stirred within me, it slowly receded, slipping back into the corner where the shadows pooled deepest, and then it simply vanished. The room's oppressive darkness returned to normal, or at least the version of normal I thought I could ever trust again. The first rays of morning light were a relief I felt I didn't deserve. The sun burned through the curtains, chasing away the shadows, and everything appeared painfully, deceptively mundane. Daniel awoke beside me, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, completely unaware of the night's horrors. "You okay?" he asked, his voice heavy and warm with sleep. I nodded, forcing a smile that felt like a crack in my face. But as I glanced toward the corner of the room, just out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a faint shimmer in the air, a subtle distortion, like the air itself was breathing, watching, waiting. I didn't sleep that day. I couldn't. I went through the motions of life mechanically: work, food, conversation, everything hidden under a thin veneer of normality. But my mind was elsewhere, trapped in a loop, circling the memory of those glowing red eyes, the wet whisper against my skin, and the monstrous shadow that had claimed my bedroom as its hunting ground. I couldn't tell Daniel. How could I? He would think I was losing my mind. Maybe I was. And when night came again, falling heavier and darker than the one before, I finally realized a terrifying truth I couldn't bring myself to speak aloud. It had only been the shadow that sought Daniel alone last night. That was just a test. It had been watching me, studying me, learning the depths of the fear I was capable of, because I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that tonight it would return. And this time, it wouldn't just be watching.